Thank you for giving me the opportunity to reflect and honour our fallen. Due to COVID-19, we will not be attending the Anzac service. This, however, will not stop us from remembering those great men and women who made the greatest sacrifice. Victor Bowman, named on the Millicent Cross of Sacrifice, was born in Millicent on the 30th of May 1894 to Henry, Robert and Hannah Bowman, who lived and farmed near Hatherley. Known as Vic, he enlisted in Millicent on the 13th of April 1916, and his papers described him as a labourer with a medium dark complexion, brown eyes and brown hair, and he was just over 5 foot 4 inches tall. He trained with B Company at the 2nd Depot Battalion in Adelaide and was placed into the 50th Battalion, with whom he embarked from Adelaide on the 13th of July 1916 aboard the troopship Sean B. He arrived in Plymouth, England on 9th of September. Later that month he was transferred into the 43rd Battalion. In November he was sent to Park House Hospital in England, suffering from the mumps. He was sent to France via Folkestone in February 1917, where the 43rd Battalion was bogged down in bloody trench warfare in Flanders. Among these battles was Mazines, which the 43rd Battalion had held for 18 straight days before being relieved on the 11th of July 1917. Vic survived this major battle and enjoyed a short spell behind the lines, including partaking in some sports, only to be redeployed in the Mezzanines sector again for another major attack on the 31st of July. The attack occurred near Wattle, and the war diary describes in detail how rain had fallen heavily for 2 days prior to the attack. The men and women had to march through deep mud, and due to this difficulty only arrived at their jump-off point within minutes of the attack commencing, leaving them exhausted already. In addition to this, the trenches were knee-deep in water, and the battlefield was a similar quagmire through which they had to struggle. War Diary 30th of July, battalions were issued with equipment stores for operations. Battalion left camp at 8 p.m. and were conveyed by motor lorries to the front. From there they marched by battalion to New Front trenches and arrived at 3:40 a.m. on the 31st of July. Battalion went straight into action on the north of the river Dove, having their right flank, and 42 Battalion on the left flank. Battalion frontage was about 1,000 yards. At 3:50 a.m, Battalion rushed and captured positions which were held and consolidated until relieved by 41st Battalion at midnight on the 1st of August. Unfortunately, Vic was among the casualties, and a letter describing his end was provided to the South Eastern Times newspaper, and as follows: Corporal T. Ryan, formerly of the Snuggery, whom when writing was an inmate of the War Hospital in Norwich, having been wounded shortly after Private Bowman was killed. Corporal Ryan writes that he was alongside young Bowman when the shell landed right over him, and the explosion killed him instantly. They had only just wrestled from the enemy the trench in which the shell fell. The late Private Bowman was highly esteemed by his comrades, and they all joined in expressing their sheer regret at his death. The South Eastern Times went on to describe Vic. He was a young man of genial disposition and promising qualities. The Millicent residents will deeply regret his death. His belongings were sent home to his family, including, among the other things, a German buckle and buttons. While he was buried in the battlefield on the eastern slopes of the Mezzanines Ridge, his remains were unable to be located after the war, and his name is recorded on the Menin Gate Memorial. This memorial bears the names of 55,000 soldiers, including 6,000 Australians, who were killed in Belgium during the war but have no grave. I take this opportunity to reflect and remember all our past men and women who served our great country, and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We remember all military personnel who are currently serving in all corners of the world. We will remember them, lest we forget.